Hello, good morning, and welcome to After GMS. We just went live here on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. Already so great to see some of our regulars and some new faces tuning in. We have a great show for you ahead here on digital, but first, let's do some introductions. I'm Megan Malaris, alongside meteorologist Ed Matthews and meteorologist Christian Morgan.
Morning.
So with two meteorologists in the house, we got to talk about this crazy weather. We've had all four seasons in the first week of 2022 and some more winter weather possibly on the way soon.
Yeah, that's right. It is cold, of course, and that cold locking in as we head through the rest of this week, the first full week of January. And make no mistake about it, that cold weather is going to cause us some concern for possibly some winter weather on the way tomorrow night and early Friday morning. For now, though, we just have clouds, and the clouds will rule the day today and for tomorrow as well. Starting out in the 30s as you step outside this morning, just above the freezing mark, 35 in Greensboro in the Gate City. And we're all starting about 10 degrees warmer this morning than we were yesterday morning when we were in the mid-20s. Of course, most of that in part to the extra cloud cover that we've had overnight and early this morning. There have also been a couple little areas of drizzle this morning and even a couple little sleet pellets falling from the sky in some locations. That'll be the story mainly this morning. So we're basically dry today, and I think the better chance for some of that drizzle is mainly to our south and east. Now notice back to the west, that bank of clouds kind of forming just out over the Tennessee Valley. That's going to be our next system that heads our way for your Thursday. For now, high pressure in control of our weather brings in a southeast wind that brings in moisture off of the ocean and continues to fuel that cloud formation that we have today, and it'll keep those clouds kind of locked in throughout the day on Thursday. Meanwhile, a front will slide by on Thursday, but it's a dry front this time. You won't even really notice it. But after that slides by tomorrow, a wave of low pressure will track along that front and come right through the Piedmont tomorrow night and early Friday morning. That will have some moisture with it. And I say moisture because it won't all fall as rain, I don't think. Some of that could change over to some wet snow before we're all said and done Friday morning. After that, high pressure builds back in, and it is cold to end the week and kick off the weekend. So here's how Futurecast plays this out. We're fine on Thursday. Then that system really arrives mainly from about 8 p.m. until about 3 a.m. And just depending on where you're located is going to mean a lot in the way of what you get, whether it's rain or whether it's snow or whether it's a little mix of both. I think further to the north along the North Carolina-Virginia border, most of this will all fall as snow. More so for us in the Triads, going to be starting as rain than ending as wet snow. And really, if you're south of I-40, it's all going to be just a cold rain. I know. How many times do we hear that in the winter? For today, though, we keep the clouds around low 50s this afternoon with a bit of a breeze at times this afternoon as well. Tonight, we'll drop it back to around freezing with a mostly cloudy sky, and then on our way to around 50 again for your Thursday. Again, we'll watch tomorrow night through early Friday morning, but it is a quick moving system. Now, the one caveat here is there could be some light accumulation on grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, cars, that sort of thing. I do not expect this to be as impressive or as widespread as Monday's system was. However, I do think we need to watch Friday morning very carefully because no matter what falls, whether it's rain or whether it's snow or whether it's a combination of both, temperatures will be in the upper 20s Friday morning. So likely anything that falls will have the opportunity to freeze. So I do think there could be some slick spots on the roads Friday morning. Go ahead and circle Friday on your calendar and in your mind as kind of the weather aware day or the day to watch over the next several. It's a cold day of weather too. After that clears out, we have sunshine, upper 30s for Friday, low 20s by the time you wake up Saturday morning. We're around 41 degrees Saturday afternoon, but rebound back to 50 on Sunday, bringing a chance for a few more showers as we end the weekend and kick off next week.
Well, Christian, I have to tell you, our longtime After GMS viewer, Carol Harris, who has been begging you for snow for weeks now, says, why does it have to snow when she's not in town? She said she's in New York, not coming back for a few days, so she'll miss both of these winter weather events we've had.
I am sorry, Carol. I'm sorry. You know, we do what we can. I didn't know you were going out of town or I would have held this off. You know that.
Exactly. It's all in your hands.
It's all in my hands right here. This is what does it all.
Okay, so let's get to our first talker, which is about the forecast. Ice scrapers, blankets, extra pair of shoes, bottled water. We want to know, what do you keep in your car in case of an emergency, especially during winter? We're talking about this because some drivers were involved in a major pileup and traffic jam on I-95 in Virginia this week, and they might have been wishing they had an emergency kit. The backup was caused by crashes and spinouts, leaving many drivers stranded on the interstate for up to 24 hours. running low on fuel and without food and water. This morning, traffic is thankfully back up to normal, and officials report everyone who got stuck is okay. So we asked you about keeping emergency kits handy. I heard from Shannon on my Facebook page. She wrote, "I was stuck in my car for 9 hours on a 20-minute drive years ago in Raleigh. Nothing like the 24 hours, but it was still crazy for me. I luckily had some drinks and crackers in my car." And Tracy said, quote, "All of our cars have a summer bag and a winter bag that we switch out each year. Those bags have 48 hours of food and water, a Mylar blanket, poncho, extra jacket, flashlight, flare stick, and extra phone charger." That is called preparedness, Tracy. Good job. This viewer texted saying, "In case I've forgotten my cell phone or the battery dies, I always keep a handwritten telephone and address book of family and friends in my car in case someone comes by with a cell phone to help. Can't remember most numbers by heart." That's a great idea. This viewer texted saying, "It's all about the snacks." Writing, "My emergency card kit consists of AC/DC, a Snickers bar, and a Celsius, which is an energy drink."
Sounds about like Ed Matthews.
I know. Ed, did you write that? Did you text that in this morning? I know you love the Snickers.
It was a secret. Yeah, Snickers bars, Reese cups. You know, you got to have all that. You know, interestingly enough, in the few items that I do have in my car, no food. I do have some bottled water. I have 3 bottles of water. I've got jumper cables. I think they are definitely a necessity. And one thing I forgot when we were talking about this on the Good Morning Show, I definitely have a flashlight. I think that's a must-have in the car as well. And I have a blanket.
Like flashlight, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one to add for sure. Christian, what about you? You said earlier on the Good Morning Show you keep a lot of things in your truck, and it makes me think I should call you in the event of an emergency. Instead of AAA, just call Christian Morgan on speed dial.
Look, I'm so OCD, I don't keep anything to eat in my truck. Even the speck of a crumb bothers me. So there's no food in my truck. But I do have, like I mentioned, the bottled water. That's a good thing to keep in mind and a good thing to keep in store. I have that, you know, in some of my storage compartments in my truck. But I've also got a tow rope. And that may sound interesting, but it has come in handy a couple times, not necessarily for me, but helping others get out of, you know, whether it be a snowy situation or a mud situation where they got stuck. So I keep that. I also have a little screwdriver set and a little toolkit in there, jumper cables as well, you know, just a few little tools to hopefully help alleviate some kind of problem if I do have it on the roads. But I've always got, you know, a little, and you know, one other thing I have too that I forgot about this, I actually have a little container of extra fuses for my truck. Just a little small thing. Actually, one time I was driving, long story short, I was driving and I opened the little compartment that used to be inside and it knocked out the ignition fuse, and so my truck wouldn't run, it wouldn't start. So I keep a couple little extra fuses in the glove box as well.
You're prepared.
Oh, yeah.
So I keep a blanket, some extra waters in there. Lacking on snacks, though, unless you count the Goldfish, the Cheerios, and the veggie straws in my son's diaper bag. But that's not with me unless he's with me, and he's normally eating them. So, you know, got to restock as needed. But yes, a blanket's a good idea. Pillow. I do have a phone charger, but again, if you run out of fuel, that's probably not going to work in your car. So things to consider. You might want to have one of those Mophie chargers or something that runs on batteries, and then you have to keep extra batteries in the car. This got a lot of people thinking. I heard from another person on my Facebook page who said, well, I didn't have an emergency kit, but now seeing that story out of Virginia, I'm going to plan one. So that's really something that we all should be considering. We have a lot of winter to go. Sharon wrote here on our live feed, blankets, water, flashlight, and flasher lights. She used to always have snacks, but rarely have clients in the car anymore. She said she might need to get back to doing those snacks anyway. Not a bad idea. Yeah, we have David added a first aid kit, blanket, food, water, a cooler, and tools. And then let's see, Bobby's chiming in about Ed's music taste, because Ed said before he has AC/DC in his car as well in case of emergency.
You know, the other thing, since we are in winter, not a bad idea is to have some of those little hand warmers to keep those maybe in your glove box or maybe in the center console. It is winter after all.
Well, I will have to confess that I'm going to have to kind of, you know, work it up where I can have more stuff, more important things for emergencies in my car. Not too offended that Megan would call Christian before she would call me.
Well, I mean, you have the Snickers, so depending on the day.
Yeah, that's it. The peanut M&Ms and the Snickers bar, and 3 bottles of water. But other than that, I don't have a lot. But I tell you what, I think this conversation is great because it really does get people to thinking. And some of our viewers sending in what they've got. I mean, I'm really amazed at some of the emergency preparedness that we have in our cars around the Piedmont, and it makes me think maybe I need to step it up just a little bit. And I think that's a great thing.
Well, you never know. I mean, these people who sat on I-95 for 24 hours, including a U.S. Senator from Virginia who said he had only an orange and a Dr. Pepper, they certainly didn't expect to get stuck for any kind of extended period of time when they headed out. But that's how fast the weather changed. Up there, it started as snow and wind like we had here, and then quickly transitioned to ice and snow. And because it started out as rain, crews were not able to brine the roads, and so it quickly turned into this situation nobody really expected.
It's rough.
Yeah, rough indeed. So Consuela said she keeps 3 kits in her car, especially since she travels with kids. So she has blankets, bottled water, portable chargers, crayons, and books. Carol said her dad was diabetic and always had Skittles in his car. Joanne said her car doesn't go out in the snow, so she doesn't have to worry about that. Sharon said she has a rain poncho, Crocs, tools, jumper cables as well. Lots of other realtor toolbox type stuff too.
I'll tell you, a pair of, like just latex gloves or working gloves isn't a bad idea either. Just, a pair of those, because inevitably it's going to happen that you have a flat tire, right? It's happened to me before and you have to change it, and it's, if you want to maybe not get so dirty, if you're especially going somewhere important, a pair of gloves or something like that, a pair of work gloves is nice to keep in there too.
Kitty litter too, I've heard.
Yeah.
To keep in your car in case you have trouble getting out of your parking space as well. Several more comments coming in. Clothes, especially keeping weather dependent clothes in your car. Sweatpants, for example, in the winter, cooler clothes in the summer, and then extra shoes. That's always good. All right, this was a fun first talker. We'll have another one coming up, but we do have some headlines to get to. And we'll start with this. All the talk in Guilford County this morning. The mask mandate is back. Partially. Commissioner Skip Alston issued the emergency proclamation yesterday, and it took effect at midnight. County officials say city mayors have to decide whether to sign off on this before implementing the mandate within each city. That means some of our cities and towns opted out, including Greensboro and High Point. It is underway in unincorporated parts of the county like Gibsonville, Sedalia, Pleasant Garden, and Jamestown. This proclamation lasts through January 13th, which is the date the full commission will vote on a county-wide mandate. So Guilford County Schools is addressing the Omicron variant spread. District leaders admitted their plans for the second half of the year are fluid. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says there might be times when classrooms must go remote. The district is looking to hire more substitute teachers and bus drivers. Dr. Contreras and County Health Director Dr. Yulia Van say schools are still safe for students. The CDC says Omicron is now responsible for 95% of all COVID cases nationwide. Experts say the new strain does not cause more severe illness, but the number of people being affected means it is still dangerous, especially for those who are unvaccinated. Right now, approximately 100,000 people are hospitalized with COVID in the U.S., on par with last summer's Delta surge. We are facing a national shortage of rapid COVID tests and a high demand for testing in the triad. As WFMY News 2's Denise McMillan reports, a local business is helping by offering a new mobile option.
There are lots of COVID testing options in the triad, like the one here at the Four Seasons Mall in Greensboro. But when this site opens, lines are to the street. So a new mobile clinic is helping with the high demand by offering testing that meets people where they are. First Stop Med Solutions is doing pop-up COVID testing across the triad. This is video from one of their recent drive-up clinics at Golden Gate Plaza in Greensboro. First Stop opened 10 months ago as a drug screening clinic, and now they're holding testing clinics and doing door-to-door testing.
We want to slow the spread. So First Stop Med actually is a clinical mobile service, and so we go house to house and we do testing to, especially for elderly that are unable to leave, for parents that have children, they're working at home, they really can't leave. So we try to help the community in that way. However, because there was such a large number, we decided to do a drive-up event.
First Stop Med provides both PCR and rapid COVID tests. Appointments can be made by calling the number on your screen. That's 336-965-9500. And as for the Four Seasons drive-through clinic here in Greensboro, it's open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday and noon to 6 on Sunday. And nearly 30% of COVID tests are coming back positive here in North Carolina. That's the highest our state has seen so far.
All right, let's get to our second talker. This one's fun. There is still a chance to start the new year as a multi-millionaire. There was a huge Powerball drawing tonight. We want to know, how often do you play the lottery? Regularly, when there are big jackpots, or never? Leave a comment below while we give you the backstory here. The Powerball jackpot has increased to $610 million for tonight's drawing. It went from $575 million to $610 million following strong ticket sales across the country. It is the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. So we're asking you, how often do you play? Regularly, only when there are big jackpots, or never? Leave a comment below. Let's start with Ed. You gambler?
You know, I remember way back when the lottery came to North Carolina. It was a big deal because our friends up in Virginia had the lottery for a long time before we did. And a lot of people in North Carolina, of course, would just jump over the border and go play in Virginia. So it really was a big deal when the lottery came to North Carolina. And when it did, I was excited about it, and I did play. It didn't have as many different games as it does now. They continue to add those. And then I stopped playing, and I can't remember the last time I played the lottery. It's probably been several years. Sometimes when the jackpot gets really, really big, I might play. Maybe this will stimulate me to go and buy some lottery tickets today. Oh boy, all that money. I tell you what, I'd give a lot of that to charities. Just give me about 10 or 15 million and I'll be happy. I just don't know what I could do. It would just be mind-boggling. What, 600 million? I'd have to give some of that away.
Help a lot of animals with that.
Oh, you better believe it. Every county in the state would have a brand new facility. Man, how great that would be.
We're all rooting for you to win now.
Yeah.
Let's see, what would Christian Morgan buy? Some new drum sets, a place in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would buy that. You know, and I would love to give, to some local charities. Would love to help my church pay off their, pay off the rest of the church debt from a new Family Life Center that we built. So obviously give back. I don't play the lottery a lot. Maybe once a year if I think about it. I actually now that I think about it, a few days ago on New Year's Eve, I bought a scratch-off ticket, a $2 scratch-off ticket, and I won my $2 back. So that's it.
Broke even.
No, broke even.
That's so funny. I rarely play, but I know you can't win if you don't play.
Right.
And so I remember, though, a few years ago covering a story about the big craze for lottery tickets, and everybody was driving to the gas stations before work to try to buy them all up. So I did buy one back then, but I don't ever recall a time where I've won anything. And I really don't think about it. But, $610 million, Ed's right. I might have to stop by a grocery store or a gas station today and pick one up.
Wonder what's that end up being after all the taxes that are taken out?
Less, obviously,
A lot
significantly less, but still way more than we'd ever have before.
That's right. Even if you see, even the $2 that I won, you got your money back, or at least you win something, right?
Oh boy. I'm still wanting that house in Key West. So never going to get that house if I don't win the lottery. And as you said, Megan, in order to win, you got to play. So I got to get moving.
Probably buy the Hemingway house in Key West. You could buy a whole island.
That and the one on either side of the Hemingway house. Yeah.
You can do a lot with that. Yeah. I think this is just so fun. It comes at a time when people are so weary of everything that's still going on in the world. Year 2 now, going on year 3 of COVID-19 and all that comes with that. The uncertainty of what's to come in 2022. So if anything, this Powerball drawing is a distraction, and just a moment to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Just a chance to celebrate if you win.
Yeah, exactly. Big celebration.
Yeah.
So let's go over some comments here on our feed. Sheree said she doesn't play. She doesn't need that money, or she does need that money for more important things. So she doesn't spend it on lottery tickets. I get it. Let's see. We heard from Lakaya, who would love to be a philanthropist.
Oh, wow.
That's
Ooh,
so
yeah.
nice. Amber has played just one time. Sharon does not play often, but might play today. And Carol does once in a while as well. All right, well, good luck to anybody playing today. Let us know how you do, and if you are the lucky winner. North Carolina does require you to give your name, so be thinking about that before you declare, because you're going to have third, fourth, fifth cousins coming out of the woodwork if you win that jackpot.
And just know, if Ed Matthews wins, it'll become Key Ed. No more
Oh,
Key West.
absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I could put a down payment on that island, right? Just own the island.
That and all the
love
key
it.
lime pie there.
Oh, yeah. I like that. What, $600 million worth of key lime pie? That's enough for me.
Freeze it and save it.
Yeah.
We have big plans for this money.
Clearly.
Yes, we do.
Now we just have to go buy tickets. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to our conversations today on After GMS. It's always a blast chatting with you. Let's do a final check of our forecast, because we have a lot to talk about there too with these changes on the way.
Yeah, I'm betting. I'm not a real betting man, but I'm betting that we will likely see a little winter weather coming up Thursday night, early on Friday. But in the meantime, just a lot of clouds, maybe a little patch of drizzle today, on our way to highs pretty close to 50, partly cloudy and near freezing tonight. Now, during the day on Thursday, it's going to be dry with a heat wave. We'll be up to about 51 with a mix of sun and clouds. The precip with this little fast-moving wave of low pressure will come between about 8 p.m. on Thursday evening and about 3 or 4 o'clock on Friday morning. We think starting out as a chilly rain mixing with a little wet snow, and maybe changing over to a very brief period of all wet snow before it tapers off. Now you can see on Friday morning we expect temperatures to be into the upper 20s, so even, you know, the rain that falls could freeze on colder objects, and we'll need to keep a close eye on highways and bridges and overpasses especially. Maybe a little accumulation of wet snow on some of the grassy areas across the Piedmont, but the roads are what we're really going to be watching on Friday, especially if those morning lows do dip to around 27 or 28 as we expect. And then the sun pops out rather quickly. We're going to see temperatures only in the upper 30s. It'll be a cold day on Friday. Saturday mostly sunny and 41. A rain event for the Piedmont coming up later Sunday and Sunday night, and then we dry it out for Monday and Tuesday.
All right, looking forward to that drying out for sure. It has been a wild week in triad weather. Thanks so much for joining us here on After GMS. We'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. In the meantime, get out there and get to it. Have a wonderful day.
See ya.